I'm K.S. Vishwa from Amrita Vishwavidyapith in Bangalore. So I'm currently in my fifth semester and I'm pursuing robotics and AI. I'm an undergraduate over there. So I belong to the mechanical department. So this is one of my coursework that I did in and in some project that I did in third sem. So we all know about locker systems. So if we have to safeguard our valuables, we use a locker system. But some of the uh, locker systems have uh, basic you know locking systems such as our uh, normal locks or manual number keys that do not involve any electronic items. So let's say normal locking system. So how do you breach that? So we use physical or brute force. So we have an equipment and we start beating it or breaking it. So in that case we breach the locker. The other methods are if the locker contains a electronic key, then like a pin, let's say. So that pin we would require, a permutation and combination of, let's say it's a four-digit lock, so we would require a permutation of combination of the base four. So one of the digits of those four digits would be the uh, answer for that or the key for that whole locker, and you can breach it. Of course, it takes some time and effort, but still it is breachable. Uh, the other ways are biometrics, that is our fingerprint. But yes, fingerprints are also, you know, they can be stolen. If I have a bottle and I try to hold this, and if it's a glass bottle, I can definitely get my fingerprint onto some kind of adhesive tape or something. So if I fit on it or a silicone, so I can definitely take out my fingerprint that I have here. So what is the other way? Facial recognition? Of course, facial recognition can, yes, indeed be an option, but facial recognition again comes with the cost of, uh, let's say this particular face, which I can take a good resolution photo, or maybe let's say a silicone mask if I wear, if someone wears of my face, and come and try to unlock, of course it will unlock. So in that kind of situations, what do we do? So I thought of coming up with a solution where we try to include multi step verifications, not just two step or three step, but multi step verifications. So where we have the first step would be a facial recognition where I have integrated TensorFlow and OpenCV. So what happens is I first initially capture capture a face. Let's say this is my face. I capture it as vector numbers. Those vector numbers are stored in a sequence in a series as CSV files in a data set. So that is stored in a CSV file format or in a database or SQL. So when that happens, I try to use those vector numbers as my formal base. Then when I try to log in, so that is while registering. When I register a phase, I save it as those vector numbers. Then after that, when I try to log in or verify that same phase, I try to find some the same vector numbers. Of course, if I have my face like this, I might turn it like this or like this. So when that happens, I try to find the cosine between the new computed values and the actual values, reference values that I have. So based on the cosine values that I have, I set a threshold. That threshold is basically termed as a confidence level. So this confidence level, once I set a threshold, so after that, if it passes the threshold or if it's below the threshold, then we consider it as uh, a successful login. Otherwise, the vice versa. So in this case, what happens is you have the first level of verification as face recognition. The second level comes as your static dynamic gestures. So I might show, number pins with my fingers. So let's say I have one, two, three, four, and five. So I have five digits, and I have three options, like three places, place values, and five options to place. So my permutation of and combination definitely becomes five into five into five. So I have those many combinations of numbers that I can set as my static gesture. So let's say I set a pin one, two, three. So that becomes my static gesture pin. Then next comes a dynamic gesture where we have integrated the TensorFlow and OpenCV to draw on the on the virtual screen that we have. So let's say I have a thing, my palm like this, and I show one and I start drawing. So if I draw a normal C or something like this, So that becomes my dynamic gesture when I'm moving it and drawing something on the virtual screen that we have. So after that comes the regular pin that we have. So this four steps only when it is satisfied by the user or the person who's trying to unlock the locker, it becomes like accessible to the person who's trying to unlock. So let me just show you a small demonstration of this. Also, the link of this has been hosted in GitHub. So that link has been put in the description, so you can definitely check. Yeah. So here you can see that I have my camera feed running and it's a website. So over here, you can see the local login and the register setup. So let's go to the register setup. So your step one is facial recognition. So let's capture my face. So this is now converting it into vector numbers. It's saved in my sequence. Then comes a static gesture. So see, I have one, so the one finger, then two, two, and three. So my current pin is one, two, and three. So the next part that comes is draw pattern. So that is my dynamic gesture. So let me start drawing. So something like that. Let's say, a small pattern. So that dynamic gesture is also saved. Then comes my set pin. So let me set it as 6, 4, 2, 3. So yeah, we have the setup ready, registration saved and completed. Let's go to the locker login. Now it's automatically going to locker login, of course. Now let's verify my face. Face verification successful. Though I was initially here and now I'm here, my cousins have say changed, but my face features have not changed. So yeah, so one, two, and three. My static gesture is recognized. Next comes my draw pattern. Okay. Um, right. So that is drawn. Now let's enter the pin. 6, 4, 2, 3. Lockers open. So I guess you all saw that. Of course, you can try it on the description, but this is my locker system, and this was my third sem and semester project again. So I did this in around 1 month of time. So yeah, it was my introduction to Python course, and I think I have done a good project. So thank you. See you all in the next video.